DC for a while. After, what brought you back here? You worked at the Shed, working with dolphins, which I just think is amazing. I love the Shed Aquarium in Chicago. Then you moved to DC, and your sister was actually in DC at the time as well, working for the CIA, which is also amazing and a whole nother, conversation.
It is.
But what brought you back to Naples? What brought you back to the gallery, away from Chicago and DC?
Well, first what made me leave was my mother told me that both my sister and I, we could do anything we want as long as it had nothing to do with art. And I think that was actually, in retrospect, very intelligent of her, and maybe something I'll do with my son too, is to really kick them out of the nest and make sure that they do their own thing. That way they don't, one, take it for granted, and two, become, resentful of it. So they didn't, even though I my whole life worked in the family business since about my son's age, actually, at 3 years old, I was helping stuffing the mailings, and then working at the front door during openings in high school and middle school. But they didn't want me to automatically go into the business, and so
which is nice.
They encouraged me and my sister to do our own thing and have our own careers. And then I had always said I'm not going to move back to Naples until I'm in my 30s, because I thought there was nothing for people in their 20s to do. But now there's colleges here, and people actually move here in their 20s, which I find so surprising, because historically people always left. My dad, it's actually his 50th high school reunion this summer, and there was only 2 people to have a reunion with, because everyone historically would leave Naples and go to Atlanta or Orlando or some of the bigger markets. But now people that are younger are coming here and having an entry-level position here, which didn't exist before. But anyway, I moved back in my 30s, and coincidentally was the 50th anniversary of the gallery, about like a year after I moved down here. And my parents, they didn't actually let us just come in and take over the business. We actually both had to audition for a year.
Really?
Yes, we had to prove that we could sell art, that we could hang a show, that we knew what we were doing. And actually, it was Joseph Hirschhorn's widow, Olga Hirschhorn. She passed away, unfortunately, in I think 2015. But in 2012, the first show I hung, it was actually a really difficult show to hang, because it was this minimalist Norwegian-American artist, and her work was very stark and had a lot of horizontal lines, and there weren't a lot of works. So I actually had to make sure that everything was hung perfectly spaced and the right height. And my dad had me hang the whole show myself. And Olga Hirschhorn, because she was older and she had someone drive her to the gallery because she couldn't drive at night and everything, well, she was the first one to walk in the door. And she stopped in the entry and said, "Bill, the gallery has never looked so good." And part of it was obviously the artist's work too, but Dad was actually, he was a mixture of proud and taken back, because since 1972 he's been hanging shows that Olga's seen, and now she's saying it's the best it's ever looked, and it was his daughter that hung it. So that really gave me
a sigh of relief a little bit too.
It did. I said, all right, I can do this. And then and clients have been really receptive to both my sister and I coming into the business. So a year later, we signed a contract to buy the business from our parents, a 10-year contract to buy it.
Nice.
They're not giving it to us; we are buying it from them. So
that's great.
It's another good idea I have to keep in mind for my son.
He'll have to buy it from both you and Aunt Julie.
Yes, it's true.
And yes, I can imagine the pressure will be on when he has to hang up his first show for you guys. No, that's great. So you're super involved in the community and raising funds with different charities. I know even your own, which I think is amazing, because you guys do a lot for the arts, which is really, really cool. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that came about, your own charity and then some other charities that you work with in town, which I don't know how you do it all, but.
Well, not being able to say no is a blessing and a curse, but Naples is a town, and Collier County is a community where it's really easy to get involved. And when I was living in DC, there's no way I would have been asked to be on the board of the National Zoo. But here, I moved to town, and they knew my background, they knew I had some fundraising experience, and they invited me to be on the board of the Naples Zoo right away. And I joined a few other boards as well. And both my sister and I, we capped it at 3. We said we'll only be on 3 boards at one time, because we also have to work full time too.
Right.
And we both found that it was very easy to get involved in the community. There's so many, this is a great organization, I mean, this is a great community with a lot of great organizations that are very grassroots, that are philanthropic, they don't depend on tax money.
Right.
Instead, there's just very generous people that are very informed and are passionate about certain causes, and they'll give. And it's great, because historically people would always say, oh, I gave up north, you know, but now
Right.
it's definitely changed. There's a lot of philanthropy that happens right here, a lot of good projects to support. And so it's been a great way for my sister and I to get back involved and to know people and to feel like we're contributing something. And then our gallery has the Harmon Meek Gallery Fund at the Southwest Florida Community Foundation, so it's a donor-advised fund at the Community Foundation, which is based in Fort Myers and serves Collier, Lee, and Henry and Glades. And the reason why we started it was because, and before that we worked at the Community Foundation of Collier County for 25 years, but my father has always felt that it's very important to introduce art to children. And back before we had any museum in town, the gallery would actually pay for school buses to come here. So every third grader would come to the gallery. My dad would hang the art lower, so it was at the height for children. Remove the price tags because he didn't want kids to focus on the price when he asked them what their favorite and least favorite was. But he would always tell kids it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay not to like something. Just because it's hanging on the wall doesn't mean you have to like it. And so to this day we still support children's art programs and art therapy programs. We think that it's with so many things, pressures and everything else going on in children's lives today, that art can be a really helpful tool for dealing with emotional distresses and stresses, and that exposure to art and appreciation of art, it can be a nice release for people, for children.
Definitely.
Yeah.